Hey everybody. Good evening, good evening. Y'all know what today is. It is Motivational Monday. Motivational Monday, and I'm Janice Butler, founder of Woman of Character Incorporated. And we are here to motivate you today. Hey Yolanda. Uh, so today, I pray everybody has been having a good day so far and a good week. And remember that we declare how our week is going to be with our confessions, right? So today's Motivational Monday, and I'm going to hop right on into this. Today, we are going to be talking about stop comparing yourself with others. I know. How do we do that? Well, today we're going to talk about it. How to stop comparing ourselves to others and why it's so important not to. Okay? So, I have to tell you one of my truths. It's easy to look at other people and everybody. You see Facebook, you see them on social media, you see all the live videos. And even whether you're on social media or not, you have friends and family that are doing their thing, right? And some of the first thoughts come. You're excited, you're happy for them, right? You want to see them succeed, you want to see them be successful. And but then as the joy and the fun continues, you start thinking, what about me? What about me? And that's one of the things that I have had to deal with just recently. You stop and you think about all the things that um, you know that you deserve, you know that you're desiring. And we talk a lot about putting out our desires into the atmosphere and changing things with our words and being positive, right? But how many of you know that sometimes those thoughts of when is it going to be my turn? Hey, I'm still here. I'm next. I want to be next because sometimes we aren't actually seeing the fruit. We aren't seeing the progress. We aren't seeing us getting how much closer we're getting to our goal. And then we start comparing ourselves and we start looking at our girlfriends and we start looking at our family members or we start looking at what somebody else is doing in their business or how somebody else is prospering and what seems to be a good relationship. We're looking at all those things and we start comparing ourselves with their situation based on what we see happening with our friends, what we see happening with other people or our family, right? But how many of you know that when we begin to compare ourselves with somebody else, sometimes we can set ourselves up for failure. Sometimes we can set ourselves up to get stuck. And we're going to talk about all of that today, okay? So stick with me, and be sure and share the video. Put your comments down below. I would love to hear what you guys think about this topic. And then, again, call up your girlfriend. Tell them, hey, Woman of Character is on, and let's get this word out, okay? Because we want to be able to help somebody who might be dealing with comparisons. So, when I looked up the definition of comparison, the definition is to to estimate or to measure similarities and or dissimilarities with somebody else or based on what someone else has or is doing. And so that's not in and of itself a bad thing, because comparisons can sometimes push us, sometimes help us to get better, help us to keep moving, help us to do better, right? to become a better person. It sometimes helps us to see where we're lacking in a situation. So, in that case, it's not a bad thing when we can really take an assessment of where we are based on what somebody else is doing. Because a lot of times we have cheerleaders. I know I did. My mom, my brother, my family members are all cheering me on. You guys are cheering me on to keep moving. And those things are valuable. Those words, that encouragement, that support is valuable. And it helps me and it makes me even look at where I am and where I'm supposed to go and where I'm supposed to be. So in that case, comparisons, they aren't bad because they're doing, people are pushing me to be a better me, to give all that I have to you, right? Or to a woman of character, or to my business, or to my family and my friends. So comparisons aren't always bad, but usually when we begin to compare ourselves with others, we begin to look at, like I said, what they're doing, how they're making it, all the money that they're making, all the exposure that they're having, all the fun that it seems that that person or those people are involved in. We look at their relationships and we say, wow, I wish I had a relationship like that, especially when you know that you have a promise from God that you're going to be in a successful relationship, or you're going to have a successful business, or you're going to travel the world, because the word says that he'll give us the desires of our hearts, right? So what happens when those desires haven't been fulfilled yet, and we begin to look at other people and their success, where they are? We begin to look at them and then we get down on ourselves. Well, comparison can make us do several things. It affects us both mentally, it affects us physically, and it also affects us spiritually. And that's also based on, it happens in the natural as well as in our spirits. When we talk about it affecting us mentally, what are some of the ways that it can affect you mentally? When we begin to compare our lives, our desires, where we are with other people who we know. Now, usually it doesn't matter. For me, it doesn't. For somebody that I don't really know, that I really don't know their struggle, or I don't know their lifestyle. And then, because when I begin to compare, remember I said the definition is to compare similarities or either dissimilarities. And when, we look at our own lives and say, well, I don't do this, or I'm really working hard at this, and then we see somebody else come along and it just seems like a breeze, we can get discouraged. We can get depressed even about, where they are and where you are compared to them, right? Well, that's one of the effects of comparing others. And we have to stop it, ladies. We have to be able to recognize when our comparison is pushing us and improving us and compelling us to be better, and when our depression is now affecting us in a negative way. And some of those negative ways, like I said, is depression. It can create negative thinking about yourself, about your abilities, about your even your desires. It can make you feel inferior to whomever it is you're comparing yourself to. It can also make you feel worthless. Like, man, I don't have anything to offer. I used to think about when I came out of this domestic violence situation, and my mom used to tell me all the time, Janice, you can help so many people by sharing your story. And I used to say, Mom, who wants to hear my story? Who wants to hear what I have to say? I'm sure there are times in your life when you're saying, who wants what I have? Or because we begin to think it's not good enough. It also can affect us mentally by producing jealousy and envy of what someone else has. But again, we don't know the struggles that they have or that they're dealing with or the things that they've endured or the work that they're even putting in to get what they have or what to go where they are, get where they are right now. Um, Physically, how can comparing yourself with others affect you physically? Well, once you begin that negative thinking and that worthless thinking, or even that envy and that jealousy, it can cause sickness, it can cause headaches, it can cause um, you to sleep or either to lose sleep, sleep deprivation, you know. Uh, but usually it will begin the negative thinking and the inferiority or the fear or the doubt that you aren't good enough can produce something physically in your body. So we have to stop comparing ourselves to others. And then spiritually, how does it affect you? And this is a big one, guys. It will affect your trust and your belief in God and whether his promises really are yes and amen. It will cause you to doubt. You know, we always say that we trust God, just trust God, just believe God. But do we really know how to trust and believe God when we aren't the one on the receiving end? When we aren't the one that's flourishing, when we aren't the one that's prospering, when we aren't the one that's getting the things that we have been desiring for years. And so we begin to doubt. We begin to not really trust. Or our belief system, we get swayed by, well, God did it for them and maybe that's enough. Again, that inferiority complex. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. Because one, God is no respecter of a person. And what he does for one, he'll do for all. But there are conditions. We do have to do some things so that we can put ourselves in a position to receive, right? And so I'm saying all of this to say, this isn't something foreign to me. I had to deal with it. And then let me tell you what it helped me to do. When I recognized that I was getting in a position of actually comparing myself from a negative standpoint, I had to then change my mindset. I had to do as the scriptures say and rejoice with those that rejoice and be in a position absolutely to receive. Because again, when you know that God is no respecter of persons, that means whatever you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive it and you will have it. I say it all the time. Affirmations are so important. And when we begin to say what we see, we'll see what we say. Sometimes your journey, my journey, may take longer than someone else's. But again, you have no idea what that person has done or is doing or has been through to experience what seemingly to others is all this fun and all this joy and all this wealth. You know, sometimes I say this about social media. We see what people want us to see. See, because to be honest with you, before I got on this live, I was working at home. I had on a t-shirt. I had on some jeans, no makeup. Hair was just kind of swooped to the side. But when I knew that I had to come on and talk to you ladies, talk to this audience, of course, I put on a nice blouse, makeup, did my hair so that I can be presentable to you and for you, right? So don't compare what you see on the outside and not know what's on the inside of that person or that situation. Because again, The world is only going to give you what they want you to see. Nobody wants you to see them broken. Nobody wants you to see them sorrowful or hurt or hurting. But it's okay, because knowing what you've been through and what you're maybe currently going through, when the promise comes, when the thing that you're desiring the most comes, when you start walking in your purpose, when you start getting there, you'll be one, more appreciative, because you know what the struggle was. You know how you had to fight emotions, your physical body, when you were tired and just like, I don't want to do this anymore. You know what it took for you to have to believe for that promise and for that goal, for that business, when everybody else said, that's not going to work. You know the fight. You know the struggle. And when you know the struggle, you can appreciate it more. You value it, that thing, more. You take care of it. It's your baby. It's your baby. And for us mothers, when we have children, we go through the labor pains. And I know you hear this all the time. You go through the labor pains. You go through carrying that child for 9 months. Some people can't sit down because of the baby's on the sciatic nerve, or you have, you know, you're throwing up all through the first and second and sometimes even the third trimester. Your blood pressure may be out. I had toxemia with my second child and had to be bedridden the last 3 months, staying in the bed because they didn't want my blood pressure and my sugars and stuff getting all out of whack. But how many of you know that when you deliver that baby, when I had that little girl, and even when I had my son, that all the pain, all that labor, all that hard pushing that you had to do, when that baby came, you soon forgot how much pain you were in, all the things that you experienced those 9 months, 10 months prior, all the stress, all the worry, and you just held that bundle of joy and you loved on him or her, and it was like nothing else in this world mattered. And so it is with you and your promise, you and your dream, you and the thing that God has specifically for you, whether that's your business, whether that's starting a new business, whether that's becoming a speaker, whether that's writing a book, whether that's, you know, being in a relationship, having a healthy relationship. When you get it, you appreciate it more. And so the comparisons at that point, if they're not making you better, if they're not pushing you forward, if they're not creating and motivating and creating in you a drive to keep moving, stop. Just stop. Stop, because in due season, you will reap if you faint not. Ladies, this is not the time to stop. This is not the time to give up on your dreams. This is not the time to put your dreams or your goals or your progress on the side. Keep moving. Comparisons don't do anything but keep you down. Comparisons will cause you to get stuck. Comparisons will cause you even to quit. And we don't want that. We don't want, here, a woman of character, you to stop, you to quit, because somebody needs what you have. Somebody needs to hear what you have to say. Somebody needs to receive what only you can give. So stop. Stop comparing yourselves to others, because in due season, and I don't know how long that is, but you just have to trust the process. It's coming. Even in the midst of a pandemic, it's coming. You got this, sis. I promise you, you have it. We have to stop comparing ourselves to others because, again, all we see is what they want us to see, not knowing that our struggle is our struggle, theirs is theirs. But when we get to the end, man, we can rejoice when we get to the end. We're going to throw this big party. When we get to the end, you will have said, I did it. I won. And that's what we want for each and every one of you, is to stop comparing yourselves to others and get to the promise, to the prize, to the goal that you have and that God has given you. Because again, there's enough room for all of us to succeed. There's enough space for all of us to win. It's not whether you get there first. It's just that you get there. And that's what we want you to do, is get there. So I pray that today on Motivational Monday, that whether you've put it aside, that you'll pick it back up. If you put that dream, that notepad that you were writing all your dreams and your goals and your next steps on, pick it back up, sis. Pick it back up. Start writing again. Start dreaming again. Start hoping again. Because again, you win in the end, and you determine your end. All right? So I pray that this has been an encouragement to you. Please, please, please go and follow us. We're on Instagram at WMOFCHARACTER. On Facebook, go and like our page, Woman of Character Inc., and that's woman with an A. And please follow me and subscribe. Down at the button, hit the button so that you get alerts on YouTube at Janice E. Butler. Please follow us, connect with us, because this is really a connection. This is the motivation that we give to you so that you can keep going. Because when you win, I win. And when I win, you win. So I pray that everybody has a great week, a great rest of your week, and remember, say what you see, and you will see what you say. I love you all, and I will see you again next week. Bye.